So, what on earth do the Space Shuttle Challenger and a failing furniture company have in common? Well, on the surface, absolutely nothing. But if we dig just a little deeper, they actually share a profound central mystery. They both demonstrate how unseen strategic links, those hidden underlying connections within a system, can entirely make or break an organization. Think of a strategic link as a crucial step in a chain reaction. If just one of those steps fails, the entire process completely collapses, regardless of how strong the rest of the steps might be. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're exploring an absolutely paradigm-shifting concept from Chapter 8 of Richard Rumelt's brilliant book, Good Strategy, Bad Strategy. We're looking specifically at chain link systems. This is one of those concepts that's going to completely change how you view organizational performance, problem-solving, and leadership. And I am so excited to break it all down with you today. Here's a quick roadmap for today's Explainer. 1. The weakest link. 2. Why systems get stuck. 3. How to get unstuck. And 4. The power of excellence. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The weakest link. So, chain link logic describes a system whose overall performance is fundamentally limited by its absolute weakest subunit, or link. Picture a glowing neon chain in your mind, holding up this massive suspended weight. If just one single link in that chain is broken, weak, or rusted out, what happens if you go and spend millions of dollars reinforcing and strengthening all the other links? Absolutely nothing. The chain still breaks, the weight still falls. If one link is weak, the entire system is weak. To really ground this theory in a high-stakes reality, we have to look at the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster on January 28, 1986. The tragedy was actually caused by the failure of a single, solid rubber O-ring. Think about the massive disparity there. We're talking about a piece of rubber worth just a few dollars, fundamentally dooming a multi-billion-dollar aerospace marvel. In a chain link system like the Space Shuttle, there was absolutely zero point in improving the state-of-the-art guidance systems or the global communications network or even the world-class crew training if that one O-ring was weak. The whole multi-billion-dollar system's success was completely capped by its weakest link. All right, moving right along to Section 2, Why Systems Get Stuck. This trap is incredibly obvious when you look at underdeveloped economies. Let's look at a few quick paradoxes here. Supplying advanced, high-tech machinery? Totally useless if the workers operating it are unskilled. Trying to fix a stifling government bureaucracy? Completely pointless if there isn't an efficient private sector to actually benefit from it. And building better, faster roads? Well, that just puts a massive strain on port facilities, creating a brand new bottleneck. I mean, why invest millions in paving the roads if the port just becomes a massive parking lot for stalled cargo, right? When every link is managed separately, the whole system just gets stuck in a perpetual state of low effectiveness. And this brilliantly illustrates how we see the exact same trap in the corporate world with quality matching. Take General Motors between 1980 and 2008. They were spending absolute fortunes, literally billions of dollars, engineering world-class drivetrains and transmissions. But what was the actual customer experience? Picture a driver holding a broken, cheap plastic dashboard knob in their hand while listening to their flimsy door panels rattle as they drive down the highway. The engineering brilliance under the hood totally didn't matter because the cheap interior completely ruined the perception of the car. This crucial point is captured perfectly in the book with this quote. Striving for higher quality in just one of the linked units may make matters worse. Now, this is completely counterintuitive, right? Our natural human intuition is to just find a problem and fix it. But in a stuck system, improving just one linked unit requires really expensive investments. And if that doesn't improve the overall performance because another link is still broken, the entire system's overall profit actually declines. Why? Because fixing a strong link takes exponential resources and capital, but yields absolutely zero system-wide output. You aren't creating value, you're just burning cash. So how do we fix it? That brings us to Section 3, How to Get Unstuck. So if fixing things piecemeal just destroys value, what is the lifeline here? Well, Marco Tonelli proved that unsticking a system isn't about making incremental tweaks. It requires a strong leader who is willing to absorb the short-term costs of change and provide central direction. To give you a little background, Tonelli took over a Lombardi machine company that was completely paralyzed by interdepartmental finger-pointing. Sales blamed manufacturing, manufacturing blamed design, and absolutely nothing got done. Tonelli achieved his turnaround by making a really radical move. He actually shut down the normal system of local measurement. He completely stopped blaming department managers for incremental failures and took total personal responsibility for the final result himself. Tonelli executed this by running 3 highly sequential campaigns. First, he spent 12 solid months solely on quality. Nothing else mattered. Once the machines were definitively the most reliable in the whole industry, only then did he launch Campaign 2, focusing entirely on sales. Finally, he spent 9 months on cost reduction. His discipline was absolute. His unwavering focus was on tackling one link at a time, just completely ignoring the fires burning in other departments until the current critical bottleneck was fully fixed. The strategic logic here is just fascinating. Why leave cost reduction for last? Well, by tackling cost reduction at the very end of the process, he ensured that the pursuit of cheapness didn't accidentally ruin the high quality and performance he just spent 2 years building. For example, by deciding to make their own dies in-house, they actually increased the speed of the machines. This lowered the operating cost for the end user without Tonelli having to drop the actual sticker price of the machine. It was a literal masterclass in addressing the chain sequentially and protecting the integrity of the whole system. Which brings us to our final part. Section 4, the power of excellence. Now we see how this frustrating chain link logic can actually be flipped and weaponized into an impenetrable competitive moat. Look at IKEA. Their policies are this intricate, glowing web of neon links where every single piece depends on the others. Let's look at how they link together in action. Because their furniture is flat pack and ready to assemble, customers can easily pull the stock themselves. And because customers pull it themselves, IKEA doesn't need to hire a massive sales force. Because they don't have a huge sales force walking you through a showroom, they use comprehensive catalogs instead. And to house all this flat pack inventory and accommodate all those customers driving in to pick it up, they build giant suburban stores with huge parking lots. It all connects. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is IKEA has been operating exactly like this for over 50 years in broad daylight. Their strategy isn't a secret. You can literally walk into any store and see it happening right in front of you. So why doesn't anyone copy them? The answer? Chain link logic. Because IKEA's system is so tightly integrated, adopting only one policy adds massive expense to a competitor without providing any real edge. The key concept here is cannibalization. If a traditional high-end furniture retailer suddenly started selling flat packs, it wouldn't magically make them IKEA. It would just ruin their premium showroom experience and deeply confuse their loyal customers. If they just print a catalog, well, it does them no good without the warehouse model to back it up. To actually compete with IKEA, a rival couldn't just copy them piecemeal. They would have to virtually start fresh and completely cannibalize their own existing business model. And that is the true power of a highly integrated chain. Bringing it all back to the core premise of Richard Rumelt's book, we see that a good strategy focuses and concentrates action to deal with critical factors. We've learned that good strategy is essentially the art of finding your weakest link and building an interlocking system around your strengths. True strategic excellence isn't just about setting some ambitious goals or throwing more money at a problem. It requires rigorously identifying your bottlenecks and mastering an entire chain of unusual, tightly integrated activities. I want to leave you with a provocative thought to evaluate your own world. Think about the systems you operate in every single day. What is the weakest link in your organization's chain? Are you out there wasting valuable resources, polishing the strong links, while the weakest one threatens to break the whole system? It's a really tough question. But as we've seen today, answering it is the very essence of good strategy. Thank you so much for exploring this with me.